Question of the morning. Cheating the paying customer? AJ Dybantsa with quite the quote during the Summer League. Is he going to be a better defensive player? Quote, I was just being super lazy in college. I can admit that. Great. Awesome. Fantastic.
But, we don't want these athletes to just give us cliche, trite stuff.
I don't want to be lied to.
He says something honestly, and you rip him.
Yeah. You couldn't play out on defense, huh?
Man.
Being lazy.
You just hate BYU.
Didn't really care about winning.
Hey, in a Big 12 football, these teams only have one big game of each. According to you, if you have a rivalry game, which
that is the perception from the selection
now he's going to put
committee.
it. He's going to put it on somebody else.
I did from
is
the
that
get-go.
not classic?
Pass the buck. Pass it over here. Nope. Pass it.
You know better, Yak. You're lying to the public now.
What?
You know we were talking about teams getting playoff bids.
Oh, come
Don't
on.
have a strong opinion. No, they're going to respect you even more. You don't do the TV full time anymore. You'll be okay. If you think the Big 12 is weak, say it. It's all right. No one's going to cast you aside.
You already know, for reasons that will be made clear later to the public, that I think there are 3 enormous games in a row for Utah that are going to be hard to handle in November.
You said that. There's only one, maybe 2. If you have a rivalry, but not everybody in the league has a rivalry. Obviously, we do here. They do in Arizona. And they do to an extent in some of the Texases. But it doesn't compare as the 2 that we have in this state and our state to
Arizona,
the south.
Right.
They are rivals in a sense.
Period.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I think that the 2 teams here can build secondary rivalries with the Arizona schools. That's doable. But it's not on the same level. So it doesn't really matter, and I know this is a cliche, but it's true. It doesn't matter what the records are when the 2 teams here play, when the 2 teams down there play. Heaven knows the records down there a lot of times suck, but it's still huge. It still matters to where you're celebrating wildly if you just got your 4th win, and that's not good because it's the last game. But they still go crazy.
Right.
So we know those are always big games, but I think this is a good football conference. And AJ says this, and it's not appealing to what you want to hear, but I got to give the kid credit for being honest.
And Dan, yes. And Dan says, Jimmer did the same thing. These guys were there for offense. There's nothing to see here.
Go Cougars.
Right. Tony, the guy had 90% of the offensive load on his shoulders. The other players needed to take up on the defensive side.
So he should have said the Barkley thing. You got to pay me another $1 million more to play defense.
That wasn't.
You want me to play defense?
You know how old the quote was by the numbers Charles used. I get $1 million to score, $1 million to rebound. He was making $2 million a year. I need another $1 million if I'm going to play defense. How quaint is that now? $2 million. He was making $2 million as a big star.
That's called backup left guard.
Yeah. Welcome to the 90s.
So I give him credit for saying that. And there is something to be said for that. He literally was required to play 40 minutes a game most of the time, the entire game. The difference between him and Jimmer is Jimmer wasn't going to be a defensive stopper. He wasn't going to be a guy off the glass. It's just not who he was. AJ
taller, bigger, longer, more athletic, checking every box.
Whatever you need, he's got in terms of athleticism out on the basketball floor. We all agree to that, right? And those strides, I'll forever have that in my mind. Not any of his jump shots, and I know he got hot against the Utes down at the Marriott Center and was hitting everything. It's those strides that he takes, and it looks like the angle or the alley or the pathway is closed, and he contorts his body and takes these 5-foot strides and is on top of the rim. He did it in Summer League. He only played 2 games, but I think it was the first game. It was against the Jazz where it looked like it was cut off, and he goes up, he kind of bobbles the ball a little bit, gathers it, and then dunks it.
Slithers through the slightest bit of daylight.
And then he flexed afterward, and it was an awesome move. And there's very few people on the planet who can make that move. Of course, Lionel Messi being one of them, because Lionel Messi is the greatest athlete ever.
Brian, lazy attitude. That's the Cougars team leader there. Laughing, crying emoji.
Go Utes.
Yeah, I bet. I haven't clicked on it yet, but hold on. Here I go just to see.
Outside chance of go Aggies, though.
Actually, the first is a Laker.
Oh, yeah, of course.
First thing up is the Lakers.
Lakers. Pompous.
And so it's the fourth thing up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're so entitled, them people.
Hector, I feel like this is every young player in college. Everyone wants to be on offense and score. And you can say that about guys in the NBA, too. Yes. That's been around forever.
I do think we make an overemphasis on lack of defense. And it's not us. When I say us, I'm not talking media or fans. It's universal. They look at offense. What can you do? What are you offensively? In order to be a great player, you have to be prolific offensively. There's like maybe one, Bill Russell. That's it. There's nobody else. And Rodman, to a degree, but Rodman was a freak, so he drew attention to himself and his antics, and he had the blessed opportunity to play for the Bulls.
Yay! Didn't need any offense out of him. Got Jordan and Pippen and Tony Kukoc.
But we look at Rodman as this great defensive player, and he won 3 titles, right, with the Bulls. Well, so did Horace Grant. But no, Horace Grant doesn't get any run.
True story. Didn't put on the show.
Right. He wasn't running around doing nonsense.
I got to go to Vegas. I got to clear my head.
And cheap shotting guys and kicking cameramen in the groin. And, it's an endless list. And that's taking nothing away from Rodman. Rodman came off as this circus-like freak show, and then I watched a little documentary on him, and he spent intense time studying every guy and where they shot the ball. So he knew the percentages of where the rebounds were going to go if there was a miss based on who was shooting, where they were shooting from. So, he did take the time and put in the work to be that type of player.
And he did somehow, despite all the bizarreness, end up with Jordan's trust and respect. And those are two things
they know they needed him.
Jordan gave begrudgingly. So, but you had to perform also. You had to be needed, and he was, and then B, you had to fill the role.
And then at that point, Jordan had the wisdom, too. It wasn't in his early 20s.
Yeah, let Dennis be Dennis, which you're right. 23, 24-year-old player, not likely to get that, but you get in your 30s, and you're like, okay, I see what we need. As long as he doesn't cross that line that I'm drawing way over there to give him tons of space, it'll be okay.
So with that in mind, he did that.
Dikembe Mutombo, that's another guy known for defense and not for offense.
Sure, but I don't think anybody knows. Everybody thinks he's an all-time player.
Oh, no, he's not an all-time player.
He's a finger wagger.
Yeah.
That's how he got his recognition. But yeah, obviously Gobert now in today's game.
And
there's plenty of guys, but they're not viewed as all-time guys.
No, they're not. They're viewed as role guys. Ben Wallace was a role guy. He was a defensive guy. I mean, you're going all the way back. I think Hakeem, David Robinson, they were defensive players a year, and they scored a lot of points and won a lot of games. And obviously Bill Russell, that was a great shout. But it's a handful of guys.
Yeah.
A small handful.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
So the entire system demands that you focus heavily on the offensive end. And that's what's going to bring you the money. That's good. And once you have the money, if you're a decent enough person, which he appears to be certainly, you're going to get acclaim. And you're going to get commercials. You're going to get all the things that you want. And this kid's already been doing commercials. He did one in Shaq. They played it at the Marriott Center 100 times during the games. So I can't really blame him on that. And that's up to, I remember one time we had on Pace, and he was talking about Gordon Hayward when Gordon Hayward was starting to ascend. and we're talking to him about Hayward's development, and he said, I remember him saying there's a spot on the floor, it was like the right elbow somewhere over there, and he says, if you're open, you have to take that shot every single time, because that's what you can do in this league. And so when you are doing something that you're very capable of doing, you have to do it and do it. And then he said, if the coach doesn't like that shot, then he can take you out. So the point I'm making is AJ Dybantsa played the way he played. Well, if the coach didn't like it, Kevin Young could have taken him out. But he hardly ever did.
Well, there goes 80% of the offense. He can't take him out.
Yeah. And maybe Kevin said, hey, coast a little bit on that side because I really need you. And when we got all these guys down, you got to play the full 40 minutes. And you are going to be the focus of the defensive assignments of everybody. Not just the guy who's guarding you or the one who may double team, but literally all 5 dudes are going to be aware of what you're doing at all times. That's got to zap some energy out of you.
Greg says, nah. He's young, and young kids say stuff. Nothing to see here. And I actually think there's something to that. I know it's a bit of an excuse, it is, but we always said, because we've seen that Dybantsa always seemed to say the right thing in the right moment. And it was amazing how good he was. Right. Even before he was playing there, and then he was playing. So here's one quote. I think if you go back and if he just redid the word super lazy, he can make the point without saying the...
He knew exactly what he was saying. He's only young chronologically. Interview-wise, he's a grizzled veteran. He has been interviewed on national levels that you would have to be the elite player who's 30 years old to get to that point.
In studio, sitting across from Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, right. Everybody else does it at their gym. No, he literally goes on national television and does it. And so, and the way he handled it, well, what about why can't I do that at BYU? Blah, blah, blah. Everything that Smitty had for him, he just threw back.
He volleyed back. He came to the net and returned it.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't buy that he's young interview-wise. He's certainly young man.
But he's not perfect.
No one is.
Right.
You need to say that.
So the super lazy, not the perfect response.
But it was his response. There is no such thing as a perfect response. Only Jesus and John Stockton did them. That's it. And then John, depending on what your political allies are and
but you were just sticking to basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have, if some opinion got off the track a little bit here lately, but more power to him. It was fun to see him open up. Even if that's the thing. I don't care whether I agree with you or not. I support your right to say what you want to say. And
don't ignore me. Say something.
Whether I agree with Stockton, I got a kick out of him all of a sudden appearing everywhere.
Better than him ducking out the back door and saying nothing and ignoring Jazz fans for years. Right. He's on another podcast.
Who cares what
I remember you coming in the morning. He's on another podcast.
Yeah. I found that fascinating. That he thought this was a subject that I need to talk about and talk about often. Anybody want to talk to me?
Wait, who are you and what have you done with John Stockton?
I saw him at Smith's the other day pulling out, had a sign, available for interviews. So I think AJ knew what he was saying because he's experienced at this. And the message that he's giving is not so much the past, it's the future. So by saying I was super lazy, what he's telling Washington people, I'm going to be a defensive stalwart. That's the message that he's given. You just watch. Don't judge me by what happened there. I'll admit it. And he didn't go into it. Maybe he did, but it's just a snapshot. Maybe he said, hey, man, I had to play 40 minutes a game, blah, blah, blah. And
he couldn't get into foul trouble.
Right.
He literally could not.
We had no chance to win. Unless I was available the entire. Maybe he expounded on all that. So this is just a headline that we capture. But I think that's a great thing that he said in the sense that he's putting himself on notice that I will provide the type of defensive effort that is something that you, the management, the coaches, the fans want. I think that's the message that he's sending. Not that, I was a dog. I didn't give a crap at BYU. I was just going through the motions. That's not the message. The message is actually exactly the opposite.
Well, hence don't use the word lazy.
No, that's why you use it, to make the point.
There were reasons.
Make the point. Yes. No, I appreciate him saying it. And if I'm a Washington, anything associated even casually, I'm glad he said it, because now he's putting himself on notice. And you can't do that. It's like Darren Peterson coming out and saying, "Oh, I want to play all 82." Okay, what you're saying is, hey, I'm going to go Bruno Mars. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. That's what I'm doing.
You know how I always say I could see that coming? I couldn't see that coming.
Neither did I.
That was Bruno Mars out of deep left field.
Yeah. So that's what he's saying. And now with Peterson knows if it's game 16 and all of a sudden the team comes running out and he's sitting there on the bench and he's not in his uniform, he knows the whispers, right? And if it's 2 or 3 games, in the first 25 games, if he sits out multiple games, it's going to be, He knows it. So he goes out and says that. It's the same thing with Dybantsa here. And Peterson's case is more serious, obviously, but he's saying that I will be a defender. Just watch. Wait, you'll see. Don't judge me by that over there. That's a funny thing. This whole system's out of whack. And they've got to recruit these 4- and 5-star kids, blah, 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 blah. And they're just there for a cup of coffee, and they're gone. And those teams rarely win anything, or rarely win at all. Maybe they do win stuff, but they rarely win at all. And then they're gone, and it's just like a footnote.
Cooper Flagg, good player, great player, 1 year, Duke.
They got to the Final Four.
Got to the Final Four. And then the very next year, they're loaded with multiple picks, as they were with Cooper, and they're loaded with multiple picks again, and they're out in the Elite Eight in a dramatic game.
Yeah,
but it's a constant reset at Duke, just constant.
It's crazy in that way then that's the system. And Cooper Flagg, nobody cares what he did at Duke, and especially even Duke fans, because they got 100 of them come rolling through all the time. It's like Roger Reed said years ago about Chris Burgess. They got 5, 6, 7 Chris Burgesses. He comes here, I stay awake at night thinking of drawing up plays for him. But you go over there, and you're just another guy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an assembly line of dudes who do that. At BYU, we make a big deal because there isn't an assembly line. We'll see if Kevin Young makes it an assembly line. But are they going to be able to win with that type of player? The overwhelming evidence suggests no. But that's the system. If AJ Dybantsa wants to come, you're going to say, no, we're not really interested, son, because you're only going to be here 1 year?
Can you be Michigan and get 3 or 4 really good players? Now, Duke got 3 or 4 really good players. Didn't pay off with the title for them, but also BYU would be thrilled with a Final Four and Elite Eight in back-to-back years.
They would be ecstatic, absolutely, and they should
and
be.
And BYU take 3 or 4 of those players, no problem.
I mean, of course they would, but I think that's probably what you need. I mean, Arizona, they lost guys this year, and they got to the Final Four, and really good team, and then they go out. So it's more likely going to end in disappointment, but you have to do it. If they want to come, you can tell them no.
Coaches don't seem to turn away talent. Not the way they work.
In a sense, Dybantsa was protecting himself in the manner that Peterson was protecting himself.
Addressing the past issue and predicting the future.
Yeah, you don't want to.
This is my future.
Get injured, suffer a serious injury. The fact is, you can argue that Saunders' injury cost him millions.
Saunders' injury cost $2 million.
Himself.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because he went, second or third in the first round?
He was the second pick of the
And
second
if he moves up, they're all slotted.
It seems to me, if he was healthy,
10, 12,
probably would have
15.
been up a few more spots.
10, 12, 15 spots is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And years and blah, blah, blah. And now he's got to find a way to earn it and scratch that back.
Right. So
first-round deals are guaranteed. Second rounds are not.
And these guys at the other end, it's like I said with Aaron Judge. Aaron, do not leave your feet until October. He left his feet, and now he's out. For what? Trying to catch a fly ball.
For 1 out.
Take that on the bounce. In fact, tell the center fielder, hey, you got it. I'm going to stand here.
Let that thing roll to the wall, and when it stops rolling, pick it up and chuck it back into the cutoff guy.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, we gave up a couple extra bases.
So what?
Versus you gave up a couple of weeks. Maybe you gave up a couple of months.
He's
What's
going to give up a majority of the season. Yeah. So it's a funky thing about these guys trying to give their all, but yet they got to protect the investment. And in a sense, now in the basketball, it's an individual. But for Aaron Judge, it's the whole organization that relies on this man. And he dove for a ball. Don't ever do that again.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.